We will be going to the West Bank now because France 24's Norris, Trent, our senior reporter, is currently in the occupied West Bank, from where she joined us now. Catherine, I gather you're at a rally today in Ramallah in thanks of recognition by Western states, the recognition of a state of Palestine. What are people telling you there?
Good afternoon, Angela. Yes, we've been at a rally in central Ramallah a short time ago where I would say a few hundred people, not more, gathered briefly in a show of thanks for the international recognition of Palestine by countries such as France, the UK, Australia, Canada, and all those Western countries that have come forward to recognise the state of Palestine. So we saw them waving Palestinian flags, waving flags of the countries, some of the countries that have recognised them. It was a brief gathering, but we managed to speak to people down there with my colleague Pauline Godart. We interviewed them, asking them whether they thought this step was purely symbolic or whether it was going to bring about concrete changes on the ground, given all that we know about the difficulties for Palestinians in the West Bank. And we can take a listen to some of those we interviewed now.
I'm here today for our independence and for our freedom. Because Palestine has to be recognized, we need to stop the war. The first thing we need to do is stop the war, the killing, the genocide, and the starvation.
This shows the Israeli arrogance and the American arrogance by isolating them from the rest of the international community. They're isolated. This shows that they're alone in their decision. The declaration of statehood is a victory in spite of all the bloodshed in Gaza and our children being killed.
The recognition brings change. It revives the national spirit. In the long term, it will teach the new generation about Palestine and how it was occupied. And what the Palestinian people long for is to get their land back, as well as their self-determination and freedom.
Given the political role and control exerted by the United States on the ground, I don't think there will be big changes. But God willing, we hope in the future we will receive our full liberation in spite of the occupation and have the chance to live a life in freedom and peace with all of the countries of the world.
Catherine, on the West Bank, did you hear people voicing real concerns that the Israeli government, because we were hearing this pushed a lot by far-right members of the government, a full annexation of the West Bank? Netanyahu doesn't rule it out, goes further sometimes. Did you hear much worry about that on the West Bank?
Yeah, there's a huge amount of concern here that the Palestinians living in the occupied West Bank could be pushed further off their land. People have told us they are worried Benjamin Netanyahu will formally annex parts of the West Bank, and we know that settlement building has been increasing rapidly under this government, the most far-right government that Israel has ever had in its history. In particular, there are concerns around one settlement plan, which was actually frozen for decades because it was so controversial under international, notably US pressure. This is known as the E1 plan, and this is just outside East Jerusalem, which Palestinians see as their capital. And it would basically link up major Israeli settlements already in place with East Jerusalem and cut off a lot of territory inside the West Bank. Some activists, pro-Palestinian activists, and Israeli two-state solution advocates are warning that this would effectively make a Palestinian state unviable on the ground and really stop it from being connected in major urban areas. We filmed a report on this a few days ago, again with my colleague Pauline Godart, and take a look at these plans which are worrying people in the West Bank here so much.
These hills just outside East Jerusalem in the West Bank are in the E1 zone, a highly controversial Israeli settlement plan, which the UN has labelled grave and unlawful.
So welcome to E1. We're in it. Notice how the scenery changes drastically. We're now at the edge of the desert.
Naomi Khan campaigns for Regavim, a pro-settler group founded by the far-right minister Bezalel Smotrich.
What you see here is a magnificent Palestinian garbage dump on our left, and soon massive illegal Palestinian construction.
They lobby to demolish Palestinian buildings in the West Bank on what they claim as Israeli state land. They're delighted the E1 project has just been signed off. It was frozen for decades under US pressure, but that's changed with Trump in the White House.
Now the international climate has changed, and that includes first and foremost the United States administration. Here we are, 30 years later, and US approval has been attained.
E1 would link Ma'ale Adumim, one of the largest Israeli settlements, with East Jerusalem.
Coming here to formalise the controversial plans earlier in September, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there will never be a Palestinian state. This land is ours. His Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich going even further, saying the E1 project would bury the idea of a Palestinian state, wiping it out, not with slogans, but with actions.
The Israeli NGO Peace Now says E1 will cut off territory vital to a Palestinian state.
Around 1/3 of the Palestinian population in the West Bank lives in this area, with nearly 1 million people. If Israel continues to take over more of the very little land reserve left for Palestinian growth, it will cripple the Palestinian economy even before it gets off the ground.
But the mayor of Ma'ale Adumim says the plans are actually important for Israeli security and affordable housing, and that Palestinians can go round the sides.
I do think that establishing a Palestinian state in the heart of Israel is a security danger for the Jewish people and for the state of Israel. But there is a road that enables Palestinians to travel from south to north, and a 15-kilometer corridor to the east of Ma'ale Adumim, which also allows for Palestinian movement.
This Israeli government has accelerated settlement building, approving 49 since taking office. In one of those just south of Jerusalem, we met settler leader Lior Tal, who established an outpost 6 years ago and was accused of intimidation by nearby villagers.
We've got more than 120 hectares of state land here, and we protect it by taking our sheep out to graze. When Jews walk around an area, no Arabs will go there. There won't be any intrusions.
He dismisses out of hand the idea of a Palestinian state on this land.
Why? Why should they be here? They have Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Libya. Let them go to all those countries. Why do they have to sit here in our country? Come on. If the Europeans like them so much, let them take them instead.
Tal says he has no intention of leaving. In fact, he wants to expand this community. Despite years of international condemnation, more than 500,000 Jewish settlers now live across the West Bank.
So you can see there the challenge facing any authorities here of establishing a viable Palestinian state. And Benjamin Netanyahu has said that his response to these recognitions of statehood will come after his meeting with Donald Trump in the United States.
Fascinating. Thanks very much, Catherine. Catherine Norris, Trent, our senior reporter there, speaking to us from the West Bank.